To yet another video on the channel. Guys, I've been playing Dragon Link, and do you know what? I have not regretted it. It's quite literally one of the funnest decks I've played quite recently, and I've gone to a grand total of about 4 locals with it. I've won 3 and I've come tied second on another. My overall is, with this current build, is 14-1. So I'll take that as a bit. My only loss was to a Heat Soul Turbo deck. Guy just basically drew 4 hand traps and full combo every single game. Not even Dragon Link could play through 4 hand traps if they basically have the perfect outs to it, like Ghost Ogre, DD Crow for the Crow, the Nibiru, the Ash, you name it, most probably freaking had it. So yeah, but yeah guys, really did enjoy this build. We're using more of a Hulk engine for the Scythe, because it just plays around Dark Ruler no more, which is one of the biggest weaknesses that Dragon Links have. So I'll get to that when I can. And without further ado guys, let's get into the deck profile. So, starting us off guys is of course our Rocket engine, being the 2 Tracer, 1 Synchron, 1 Absolouter, and finally 1 Recharger, Boot Sector, 3 Quick Launch. So this is all you need for your Rocket engine. It is a pain in the arse when you draw like Recharger, but it is what it is sometimes. So at the end of the day, you don't need triple Tracer. This is pretty much all it is. Searchable off the Striker gun and pretty much just plain rockets, absolutely to your doubt. And this is all you need for rockets. Rockets, pretty much self-explanatory. You do need to be careful of the dark block that they seem to have, but it's not too much of a problem. Then continuing the dragons, because obviously all these all near enough 1 card stars to get to that Striker Dragon and go off onto there is Red Rose, Rocks Rose, and of course 1 Basil Rose Shoot. This also can only special summon out the other one if you synchro it off, so please bear in mind if you link it off, you're not going to get the search. This gets access to this. This is a monster we want for the others. Basically, it's just a free. Now, if you use it for synchro summoning, which you can summon off a Hulk, basically it's just free easy monsters for extending off and just keep going. Continuing on with the dragons, we've got white and black dragon, the Chaos Baby dragons, Destrudo, and then finally 3 Chaos Space. So Destrudo is a really great extender for this deck. Yes, you have to pay off your life points, and it can be a big cost, especially in game 2 and 3. But it can really come in handy a lot of the times. It's just free extending the graveyard or from hand. Basically, easy access getting to help. White and black dragons are just easy extenders. Chaos Space, just pitch any one of our light or darks, get the other one of these you off to the races. Basically a full combo while you keep chain blocking, so you always get access to your field spells. Then we're playing a very small Punk engine, being 1 of each and triple E-Telly. So between E-Telly and Quick Launch, you're running 6 like Quick Launches in your deck, or 6 of the like E-Tellys that basically aren't once per turn. Keep special summon out your monsters. You have plays for days. Z-Admin and Foxy Z-Admin really gets access to Foxy Tune, which then obviously you try and get your special summon out both these 2, Magical Dragon, Hulk off 1 play. Basically, yes, it is kind of pain in the backside if you draw this with the right or the Water Enchantress, but sometimes it is what happens when you draw a single one off. But it's still, you don't need to maximise on them or go more, because they're just like a sub-engine, but can really get the deck going if you're struggling, but that's basically what it is. Then, speaking of which, we've got our Brave engine, 3 Water Enchantress, 3 Right, Faithful, Dracoback, 1 Dream Griffin, and then finally Foolish Barrel. Now, you don't really have class Foolish Barrel as part of the Brave engine, but it can basically dump whatever you need. It can dump Water Enchantress if you want to get access to the Brave. You could dump Snow if you want to set up Snow. Same for Scythe if you've made Baron, because then you can resurrect Scythe during the standby phase. You could go for pitch Absolouter to get a Rocket. You could pitch Destrudo for this free special summon. You name it, you've got literally endless targets with this to get access to any of the cards. So that's basically what it is. But just a way to go into an Omnigate, which you don't even have to keep the Omnigate. You can quite. I normally use them for Synchro summoning off, but it is worth it in a day. Bricks, we've got one Scythe, one Snow. Really, see, they're both light attributes, so you can still use Chaos Space to pitch both of these two off, so it's not really a bad deal. Scythe, we normally set with Dagda, then destroy with Baron, because then you play around Dark Ruler no more by summoning Scythe during the standby phase, so it's like, okay, you've Dark Rulered me, but you're under a Scythe lock. So that's what I like to do. So at the end of the day, you could have Dragon Link normally ends on like a quite decent board, like Borderlands, Spheres, Baron, Savage, Heart Rate. You see what I mean? Like just like can easily end on really good negates, but they flat out lose to Dark Ruler. But at least with like the Scythe lock, if you do it with Baron during the standby phase, you don't lose the Dark. Like yes, you kind of can still lose Dark Ruler, depending on the deck, but then they're crippled themselves, hopefully. So that's what you get. And then Snow, obviously, just a Book of Moon on summon. That's not once per turn, which is stupid. Other ones off is basically Called by the Grave and Dragon Ravine. Search It of Romulus. Basically, it's a one card. Lets you get access to a rocket. So you can pitch Absara to get a rocket, or like pitch Struder if you want an extender. Called by the Grave, just being called by the Grave, try and stop some hand traps or disrupt your opponent. Speaking of hand traps, we've got 3 Ash. Ash is the only hand trap that's not light or dark, but it's just so generic and good, you just have to. 3 Gamma and 1 Driver, basically 4 drivers, because you basically 1 driver, because you never see Gamma, you always see the 1 driver in hand, just because it's just, you're bound to draw a Bleeding Garnet instead of the actual one you want. But yeah, 3 Gamma and Driver, just because it's really good. It's good. It's a light attribute. It can stun off E-Telly. You name it, you can most probably do it. 3 Nibiru, then 3 Effect Veiler. So light, all these lights, you get access to your Black Dragon, Dragon Clap Serpent, Effect Veiler over Imperm in the main, because it's a light attribute. So all of these you can search off of Magical Dragon, so they aren't dead. They're Chaos Space targets, and they're just very impactful hand traps. Overall, I believe this is a 51 card or 52 card main, so I'll take that as a victory to say how many engines we're running. But at the end of the day, I won't really take anything out. You could add in souls if you wanted to. Like if you're going to add in souls, you'll take out Scythe, but I just find if you do that, you do lose to Dark Ruler, especially in games 2 and 3. So I just found doing this with the Scythe lot, I really enjoyed it a lot more, and I've never really regretted it. Synchros, standard dragons, we've got Hot Red, Savage, Magical Dragon, Riser. These are like your standard dragons because you can just easily make them. Wonder Magician and Barret the Fleur. These are the 6 Synchros that we run, and so you don't really lose to Dimension Barrier, to D-Barrier, because obviously they're going to cause Synchros, but you can really just play with just your links alone. But these are the Synchros we run, and an Omnigate, an Omnigate, an Omnigate. So you got 3 Omnigates. This is a dump 5, add a light or dark, and it can summon itself. This dumps our Water Enchantress or Snow in the graveyard. Could also dump Scythe as well, please bear that in mind. This, during your opponent's turn, you're always going to do Baron, shuffle Baron back to set Scythe. Then you're going to special summon this off Hulk. Get a free spell of Trap Disruption if you want to, then remake Baron. So it's like you Scythe Lock and then remake the monster that you used to do the Scythe Lock with. So all in all, really great. So these are our Synchros. Then for the links, we have got 1 Striker Dragon, 1 Pisty, 1 Romulus. These are basically just, again, standard Dragon targets, and these 2 add you 2 field spells. This combined with Striker Dragon, get any dragon in the graveyard, so that's really cool. Then we have generic ones, we've got Hulk, then Dagda, for your Scythe setup. So basically I tend to just use Dagda, then play an effect to set the Scythe, and then out the Dagda with like Rocket Tracer to get like Savage on the field, or something. You don't really need to keep it after you've set up the scythe lock, but you can use it. You can keep it on the field, obviously, but then you just lose the Dark Ruler. So please bear in mind if you're leaving it on the field with Havoc. 1 Dark Charmer, 1 Masquerade, 1 Unicorn, and Access Code. So Dark is really good for dark. A lot of the good stuff is Dark in this format. So get easy access to like Unicorn or Access Code to all off it. You can end on IP on top of your board as well, so you can go and do a Unicorn play during your opponent's turn. That's never terrible. You could easily sub out this for like Heavenly Spheres or Borrowland if you really want to. It's not like that isn't a wrong or bad. I just prefer to do these two just because it's not just because, let's say, you have a play during your opponent's turn, so that's kind of why I do it. And that's it for the just the access code for OTK purposes. May I say more? Oh, and also they're all darks. Majority of them are all darks as well, so you play under the Rocket Tracer restriction. Then as for the side deck, 3 Imperms, 2 DD Crow, 1 Token Collector, 3 Draws. These are hand traps in the side. DD Crow is really good against specific matchups like Sky Strikers. What's the other one? Outlich matchup is really good up against. You can kind of side against Phantom Mans because you can just banish the targets for the do. So if it is a dark attribute as well, so you don't. So again, you can search it off Magical Dragon. Token Collector you only need a 1 off because you've got so many ways to dump it into the graveyard. Magical Dragon, you can dump it off that if you're doing. You've got Foolish, you've got Riser. Like, you name me, you can most probably get rid of Token Collector because it's a hand trap that can trigger from the hand or grave. So if you're going up against Sword Soul, you side this in, it's like great, off to the races, you basically kill them from playing. Imperm is really good against certain matchups. Against Flunders, you're going to side this in, the Biru's useless, you can kind of side out Gamma as well, you don't have to, but it's like, against Flunders, you just side in Draw, siding Imperm, they're not going to do much against you, and much against you because all your hand traps will screw them over. Then you're off to the races with that. Yes, Imperm and Draw aren't light or dark, so you have to be wary with Magical Dragon, but sometimes you have to make sacrifices. You just have to run good stuff. Then finally, we've got 3 Lightning Storm, 3 Dark Ruler. For go second cards, depending on matchup, Dark Ruler I would keep 100% just because, like, if you know you're going to go second and you just want more, like, high impactful cards, side in Dark Ruler. Like, if you're going to go second, I say Scythe's useless. You could side out Distributor if you wanted to. That's 2 targets straight away for like these if you wanted to run them. And then if you would like to, you can run Lightning Storm. Twin Twister Cosmics also run the same things. Mainly for back row hate, but I found just having a board wipe is better than, especially against stuff like Sky Strikers when you just out the entire board rather than like just hitting 1 or 2 of them is really better. So yeah, that's it for the deck, guys. You can change a few things around if you would like, but I really prefer this deck with the Scythe Lock during the standby phase because I see you play around Dark Ruler, one of the main problems that Dragons have to play against, and you quite happily get to OTK your opponent going second. But yeah, I've only lost once with this deck. I really do enjoy it. And yeah, say more. You can add in souls, like I say, and nothing wrong with that if you want to add in the souls way. I just prefer this way. So without any further ado, I would like to hear your or see your comments down below, guys. What we change, what we like, opinions on it. Let me know. So without any further ado, take care, guys. Have a great day or night. In a bit.